Everyone, TetraCubing here. So a few weeks ago I went to a Rubik's Cube competition called Agora Spookcubing 2023. One of the events was clock and I had to do 13 solves. Yeah, you heard that right. Somehow a lot of weird things happened in this average, so yeah, let's get right into it. So you may have seen that on the first solve the judge lifted the cover before I was ready. I was like breathing and then he saw the cover lifted. I was kind of confused, but I did the solve and it was 655, which is not too bad for me. I had two goals for clock for this competition were a sub-7 average and a podium. So this is the first round of clock and I really wanted to get the sub-7 average. I DNF'd out of getting it 5 months ago, so I wanted to make up for it this comp. So the second solve was a 651, the first solve was a 655, so pretty consistent, and I'm also on pace for the sub-7 average. Okay, so it's time for the third solve that you're watching right now. And this was 623, but unfortunately it was a DNF by 1 turn. Okay, so the fourth solve, just watch. Yeah, that was the scramble. So 0.11 world record single, I guess. Here's the actual fourth solve. It says solve 5 on the top because this is the 5th attempt I've done so far. So I knew that if I didn't get a sub-8 single on this solve, then I could not get a sub-7 average this round. Unfortunately, I ended up getting an 8.6 single. I knew that if I wanted a sub-7 average, I would have to wait until next round. Okay, so here's official solve 5 / attempt 6. So when I was inspecting the scramble, I realized that something was wrong. This scramble, it looked the same as the scramble from the previous attempt. I wasn't completely sure, so I did the solve anyway, just in case it wasn't. And yeah, it was the exact same solution. So I called over a delegate and I showed him the video of these two solves, and as you can see, they are indeed the exact same scramble. The delegate wasn't sure which scramble I received twice, so I went to the scrambling table to check, but he found out that this scramble, it did not match any of the scrambles on the computer, which meant my 4th and 5th solves, they were both missed scrambles. So I had to get 2 extras for both my 4th and my 5th solve. Here's an extra for my 4th solve. Since my 4th solve was bad, and this extra would replace it, I knew that if I did good on the extra, then sub-7 average would actually be possible. Again, if I didn't get a sub-8 single on this, then there would be no chance for me to get a sub-7 average. So I got a 677 single, which is indeed sub-8, so sub-7 average is possible. And finally, here's the extra attempt for my 5th solve. I needed a 766 or better for a sub-7 average. So let's see what happened. Also, if I didn't DNF my 3rd solve, I would be already guaranteed a 661 average. So we're nearing 7 seconds, and yeah, this is not going to be a sub-7 average. So I thought that was the end of the average for me. But the delegates announced that this round had to be completely redone because one of the scramblers apparently didn't know how to scramble a clock properly. Okay, so here's my actual first solve. It's kind of crazy that my first official solve of this round was on my 9th attempt, when most averages don't even have 9 attempts. And here I ended up fumbling on the flip a bit, which cost a bit of time, no pun intended. I thought this was a 727, but it was actually a DNF by 1 cross piece on the back, which I completely missed somehow. But like I said earlier, one of my goals was the podium. This is the first round, so if I DNF'd another solve, I would have no chance of making finals. So I was just going for successes here, but I did still hope for a sub-7 average. I was just kind of hoping not to DNF this one, because if I got 2 DNFs, then I wouldn't even make the cutoff. Thankfully, I ended up getting a 714 success, which is pretty good. On the 3rd solve, just watch what happened. Yeah. The bad pickup probably cost a full second of time, which was really unfortunate because the scramble was pretty good, and I got a 682, which would have been a 5 without the bad fumble. If I wanted to get the sub-7 average this round, then I would need pretty much a sub-7 single on the 4th solve, otherwise I would basically have no chance of getting it. This solve was a 685, which means that I could get a sub-7 average if I did well on the last solve. On this last solve, which was attempt 13, I was really nervous. For one, I knew that if I DNF'd this solve out of a DNF average, I would not make finals and I would have no chance of podiuming. And second, I knew that I only needed a sub-7 single for a sub-7 average. I literally needed a 699 or better for a sub-7 average, and if it was 7 flat, then the average would also be 7 flat. And I've gotten sub-7 in my last 2 solves, so I knew that it was possible. But of course, the hardest event is definitely clock. So I'm still on the first phase at 5 seconds, which pretty much means that this average is dead. So yeah, 1041, not great. At least it was a success, which did get me into finals. So I knew that finals was my last chance this competition to get a sub-7 average and podium. Unfortunately, I did terribly in finals. Comp nerves definitely got to me. I only got 1 sub-7 single, as you can see here, so no sub-7 average. And I was 4th place, only 0.23 seconds away from the podium, which kind of sucked. Although clock at this comp was pretty disappointing results wise, I'm still pretty happy with my performance at this comp, especially since I was able to get my first 3x3 podium. Getting an official average of 13 was also pretty cool. I doubt that anyone's actually ever gotten more than this in a comp, but if you know someone that has, then please be sure to let me know in the comments. Thank you everyone for watching this video, and if you enjoyed it, then please be sure to like the video and subscribe to my channel for some more medium quality cubing content, or something.